Agriculture remains the backbone of Ethiopia's economy, employing millions and contributing significantly to national GDP. Wheat, staple food for millions of Ethiopian households, has become central for the country's food security strategy. In recent years, the Ethiopian government has launched an ambitious wheat development program. Through expanded irrigation, improved seed varieties, and modern farming techniques, production has significantly increased. Lowland irrigation projects in regions such as Afar and Oromia have turned previously underutilized land into productive wheat farmers, allowing farmers to grow wheat beyond the traditional rainy season.
I think Ethiopia has shown a tremendous increase in wheat production. As has been mentioned, previously we started from zero, I would say, because there were no wheat production in 2027, let alone, in large scale, even at a hectare level. But what has been done is that with the support through African Development Bank and other projects, help to create the technologies which would fit into the lowland production systems. Because in Ethiopia we used to focus on rain-fed in the highlands. So with that support, which comes from we call support for agricultural research and development by African Development Bank, help us to generate heat, drought tolerant, high yielding, high quality grain producing wheat varieties and production practices. So in partnership between ICARDA and Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research, we have developed that technology which fits into the lowlands. That has been demonstrated and that has shown changes on the ground, and that has been presented to our policymakers at the national level. And the policy level have shown the leadership, the ownership, the commitment. And that is what brought the wheat production in irrigated lowland, including also in rain-fed areas, to increase in Ethiopia.
To increase total production, Ethiopia has expanded wheat cultivation into integrated lowland areas, particularly in the Afar and Oromia regions. These areas are now complement traditional highland rain-fed farming systems. By utilizing irrigation, farmers are able to grow wheat during dry seasons, raising annual output and reducing dependence on unpredictable rainfall.
The objective of STAT, Technologies for African Agricultural Transformation, is how we can increase production and productivity of the major food crops in Africa, among which wheat is one of them. It's not only about production and increasing productivity, but also how we can change the livelihood of the farmers who are involved in crop production. So for wheat, it is part of what we call Africa food strategy for helping the countries to achieve wheat self-sufficiency across different African countries.
We just brought those African countries like from Ghana, from Mali, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mali and Kenya. So they are with us for the long, maybe 3, 4, 5 days to discuss about the ongoing activities and to review the status of TAT Wheat Compact across these Africa countries. So now at this time we do have established different innovation platform sites under this project. One of the IP site, I can say innovation platform site, is Lume Innovation Platform site. So as you see, there is huge opportunity of our natural resources like water and land, and also the technologies we are having on our hands are being exhibited here in Lume. So the objective of bringing those maybe experts and leaders to this platform is just to have an experience of our farmers, regardless to maybe producing wheat using irrigation, and as well as to give a witness and testimony of our country for self-sufficiency, especially by maybe producing this wheat using irrigation water as well as rainfed.
In fact, I am very happy to see this performance in the wheat fields. In Sudan, we have irrigated wheat. Also, we are producing wheat under heat stress. Okay, so I know how wheat perform under heat stress. For me, this performance is amazing. And to know that this experience is just only 5 years, I may say this is just like a miracle. And they have been told me this field sometimes they yield up to 9 ton per hectare. So if this is the case, I think Ethiopia is heading firmly towards self-sufficiency.
Today here what we have seen is a good example that Ethiopia made a big progress in last 5-6 years from 250,000 hectares to almost 4 million hectares is a big achievement. So, and this has happened because of the hard work of the national scientists, national program, their collaboration, partnership with the international center like ICARA, and all other value chain actors in the wheat sector, which are the grain millers, bakeries, cooperative, all that together made this big success.
I'm happy to be in this farm, located in Oromia region, in East Shower Zone, where a lot of work is happening, especially within the wheat value chain. We're actually here in Adama to join and support ICADA in the workshop to develop outreach materials to support the scaling of the wheat varieties. We were aware that Ethiopia is one of the leading producers of wheat, especially in the continent. And so it's not surprising that we're in this huge farm that, as we are told by the experts, cultivate almost 3 or 4 times a year, and with heat-tolerant varieties of wheat.
Ethiopia's wheat transformation is not driven by policy alone. It is powered by farmers learning from farmers. Through continuous experience exchange, the nation's strengthened collaboration boosts productivity and moves closer to wheat self-sufficiency.
What I would say, technologies are there in many of the countries, for those countries who are working with us. But the issue is how to bring that partnership, that different value chain actors are working together, but at the end, any change that will happen will require the policy makers will be own it, give the leadership, and have the commitment, and invest in it, because this will not come without any investment. So there is an investment, mobilizing the government as well as the farmers and the private sector. So that is what I say, let African countries bring their leaders, come here and see what is happening in Ethiopia. That will convince and make change.
I think this workshop is one of the events that give the chance for scientists from different countries to exchange experiences. This field is now one of the events where are exchanging knowledge and experiences. And this will be of advantage or benefit for us when we come back to our countries. We may copy like this successful model in our countries also.
Working together with all the partners, if this trend continue, Ethiopia soon will be seen not only self-sufficient, which they already achieved, they will be also seen exporting wheat not only to Africa but also beyond Africa, because these are all good efforts which you can see here today, and all the other countries in Africa can see this as an example. When there is a policy support, when there is a commitment from the government, from all institutions, they can achieve what they want to achieve. and this wheat production in the irrigated wheat production jump to the 4 million, almost 4 million is a big success. And this also happened because in most wheat producing country, the government provides subsidy to the farmer to grow more wheat. But this here, there is no those kind of subsidy to grow more wheat, but the farmer and all the stakeholder combined, they make efforts to increase wheat production. So we are hopeful that in the coming years, coming time, Ethiopia will be one of the wheat producing big country in Africa.
What I can tell from here, we can exchange varieties. Sure. Yes. Like here, the conditions are similar in Sudan, so we can see what is the varieties grown in Sudan and could be tested under Ethiopian conditions, or the vice versa. Like this, we can make advantages of exchanging the germplasm. Yes, and if it is, we can disseminate it in the similar countries with similar conditions. This will be also of a great achievement.
One of the most impactful lessons is irrigated-led wheat production. By utilizing rivers and underground water resources, Ethiopia has reduced dependence on rainfall and increased dry season production.
So as we have learned from this place, they take advantage over the rainy season to cultivate, and also they have boosted it with the mechanization, where a number of mechanized pumps are working in this farm. Also, the lesson that we have learned here is the clustering, where you look at this big farm, it's not for one person. It's a cluster of farmers. And for us who are promoters of the innovation platform approach, we believe that this is the best way to go. It makes it easier for the experts to provide support. It makes it easy for other service providers like security, health, digital infrastructure, and all that are associated with enabling the environment for farmers to feel comfortable and work in the farm. These are things that for us, it would, if African countries would take lessons from this, it will really help in the production and the productivity of our farm products, especially in this case, wheat that we are talking about. And so we think that Ethiopia is a pace setter in this wheat value chain. ICADA has done so well. EIAR, the Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research, is doing so well. We also know that the Agricultural Transformation Institute of Ethiopia has been providing digital services support. And this is how I think lessons that we can learn, ensuring that institutions that are necessary, or the institutions that are mandated to support the transformation of agriculture, are all on the table to support the farmers, so that apart from the farmers making profit, the farmers will also have the confidence that the state or the countries are concerned about how their production would be sustained. And this is something that I would want to say.
Thank you very much.
This technology is evolving. Irrigated wheat now is coming up. So mechanization is a big role. And for example, if you see here, now I give you the good example where I come from, one of the best water use efficiency. If you see in this field, there is, for example, land laser level, one of the technology where you level your land so you use water more efficiently. You got good germination of your seed. And then come also when you planting, you need to have a planting machine. So then you plant, rather than the labor, you can plant very precisely your wheat seed into the ground. Also, when it comes to harvesting, then you need the combined harvester, which help you. So mechanization is a part as you move on, as the area increase. So that you need to be mechanized. You need to bring the mechanization, you bring more new machinery for handling from the seed sowing till the harvesting. And then you also need to look at the need of the storage, because when you have more production, because then you need to store them safely and to the next processing, going to the local miller, going to be exported. But from the start, so you need mechanization till the end. So as the production increase, then you need to bring the mechanization on board, which then bring you more efficiency in the system, more effectiveness in the system.
especially research institutes as well as centers are always here to promote the technologies, the advanced technologies. You know, technology may be old and it may also be obsolete, so it has to be get out of the market, and maybe it's not going to be used much by our community. So what we do is we have to replace that technology with new and, you know, resistant as well as consistent technology. So this is what research institutes as well as centers are doing now.
Increasing both production and productivity reduces wheat imports, saves foreign currencies, and supports Ethiopia's ambitions for wheat self-sufficiency.
If you take the bigger picture, Africa imports 41 million tons of wheat, which is 60% of the demand. So if you take that and if you remain this way, after 5 years maybe the consumption increased to 70 million, right? So the idea is how we increase the countries, I mean in those countries which have the potential. We are not just, all country has to do. There are countries with the environment, with the potential of wheat production. How we can expand the area instead of one season production into 2 season production, like for example in Ethiopia, under irrigated condition, where there is a land available, where the water resources are available. So that we double the production at least. So the way is how we can increase the production and productivity, not only on improved varieties, but also improved production practices and ensuring that linkage also to the market. Because at the end of the day, if farmers may produce, but if they cannot market, there would be no incentive for them to involve in seed production. So it is developing the full value chain. It's not just only production, but it's also about marketing of that product, as has been mentioned. How you can link and incentivize these farmers to remain wheat producers. It's not that they produce today and after 5 years they leave.
You know, in our country, like in Sudan, agriculture is also one of the main pillars for the economy. So I think the government should give more attention to this, more financing, more research. This will help us so much to advance in this issue. These fields speaks for themselves. Congratulations, and hope next time I can see more areas in this region and other regions.
I think there is no industrialization without agriculture. If you go back in history, all those countries who has industrialized, that industrialization happens through agriculture, changes in transformation of agriculture. When you talk about agriculture, it's not only production, because it's about agro-processing, it's about food, and it's about livelihood. So it is part and parcel of the whole, human life. And today, people are talking about agricultural and food transformation. It's not only agricultural transformation. It's our livelihood, it's our living, it's our, life. So for me, agriculture is a life. And that is why you see in the field, you plant a seed and it becomes, alive, produce another generation, and continues. So agriculture will remain the pillar of any development.
For us at FARA, this is something that we love to see. This is something we love to hear, and this is something that we would love to broadcast to the whole continent, that the transformation of Africa really lies on the fact that countries can learn from each other. And so, as a champion of wheat production, and as we now know, Ethiopia is wheat sufficient, that means that African countries need to learn from the things that are happening here. We are informed by the experts here that they started with just about 250 hectares, but now it's running over 7,000 hectares just within this particular area. And this is something that is very impressive. We are looking forward to helping get the continent to hear about these innovations, the various varieties. We will support ICADA to package some of these technologies in wheat that can be accessed by the various countries in Africa. And so we want to encourage everyone in Africa to wake up to the things that we have comparative advantage of, and in this case, where wheat production is doing so well here, meaning that many other countries can learn from it and also build on it. And I'm sure if we all work together, the Africa we want, as enshrined in the African Union Agenda 2063, and the fact that CADEP has transitioned from Malabo and now to Kampala, which is between 2026 and 2035, we definitely would be able to achieve sufficiency in a number of value chains, including wheat, and we are happy to be here.
The good lesson, as I say, 6 countries participating, including Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is the leading one in terms of wheat production, and they have seen today here how they make those farmer cluster of the farmer, and how they produce, and how the cooperative buy from them, and what efforts they made to make this big jump. So it is a combination of partnership, availability of technology. So those people are learning those from the today visit and also from Ethiopia. And as I said, Ethiopia now is going to the larger area, more production. So they need to look at how they can bring more efficiency.
Digital monitoring systems and coordinated support from agricultural institutions are helping track progress and ensure quality production.
Yeah, from the very beginning, agricultural research institutes are established for maybe multiple purposes like technology generation, technology multiplication, promotion, and capacity building. So these are 4 pillars, and we are generating technologies across the country, and depending on agroecologies, maybe production needs, maybe availability of heat, disease, and drought, and the like. And so the role of this research institute in boosting agricultural productivity and production is really paramount by maybe making farmers aware of using these improved technologies from time to time. If you, for example, if you pick wheat, wheat can be grown down to maybe 0 meter above sea level and peak to 4,000 meters above sea level. So because of the elasticity nature of this crop actually. So we just teach them how to use those wheat varieties depending on real agroecology they are basing in. So, for example, if you go to RC and Bale, it may be mid to highland area. So we provide the technologies for these mid to highland areas like disease tolerant varieties or disease resistant varieties. If you go down to maybe Afar and Somali, what you have to have is, you have to have varieties tolerating heat and maybe drought, and other maybe factors are also there. So this is the importance of working with research institutes. For example, as I mentioned earlier, wheat may be vulnerable to the one we produced or we released for maybe rust tolerance will be vulnerable to rust resistance maybe 2 to 3 years later. So we have to really produce or release another representative variety which may have good ability to resist those diseases and give at least average yield for farmers. So as I just tell you, also promotion is one of our mandates.
Ethiopia's wheat development journey is becoming a model for Africa, proving that increased production and productivity are achievable through innovation, irrigation, and collaboration. As African nations learn from one another, the vision of a food-secure continent moves closer to reality.